My Heroes by Sarah Kemp. I am no hero, but I am the daughter of one, the granddaughter of two, the fiancée of another, and the friend of many. On November 11th, many of us paid tribute to those who we know to be military veterans of the United States of America. Many of you who have friends and family who served in one way or another. I am sure you can concur. It is humbling, to say the least. And today I wish to pay tribute to those in my life who may not speak of their heroism or acts of courage, but I know without them our lives would not be the same. Each of these heroes stands in the unbroken line of patriots who have dared to die, that freedom might live and grow and increase in its blessings. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I will be sharing with you about 4 men in my life, 4 important men, 4 who likely represent similar in yours, whether it be your own father, mother, grandmother, grandfather, or even yourself. This commemoration is for their selfless acts of joining the military to fight for our country. These men and women do their jobs without the need for recognition or medals. They do it for our freedom. My grandmother and grandfather, Gerald and Elizabeth Gosa, were prom king and queen of their high school in southern Wisconsin. Jed, everyone called him, was a football star and was to go on to receive a full ride to Madison for football. Jed enlisted in the Army and was immediately sent overseas to World War II. My grandfather, Alloy Kemp, or Al everyone calls him, was a farm boy from Iowa without many options but to join the military. He joined the Navy, during which times he met my grandmother, Elaine. Later they married and traveled to the naval base in Cuba where they began their family. My father, Donald Kemp, was born on that naval base. He later grew up on a farm in southern Wisconsin during the Cuban Missile Crisis. After 1 semester of college, Don joined the Airborne Rangers and went on to aviation with the 82nd Airborne. My fiancé, Jonathan Arnold, a boy from the suburbs, who asked me to homecoming and picked me up for school every day without even asking for a thanks in return. Some would consider our childhood a privileged one. We mostly did not have to go without and had many of the nice things in life. Jonathan joined the United States Marine Corps in 2004. Without these 4 men, we wouldn't be here today. I am thankful for my men and particularly thankful for the lives they more than likely changed whether they speak of it or not. They serve for others and not for recognition. Jed went on to serve during World War II in Northern Africa and Italy. Alloy stayed in Cuba and served his country on the USS Cascade. Donald stayed with the 82nd Airborne as Captain Special Forces. Jonathan was deployed 3 times to Afghanistan and Iraq and is currently active duty. During Jed's time in Italy, he lost his leg to a landmine as he attempted to save a man's life who had stepped on the landmine. Jed went on to receive a Bronze Star, later being rewarded the Purple Heart. His dream of football was cut short. He left behind the life when he went to war. As my grandfather, Jed would recall how he had known only life without his leg. He never let it get in the way, he never once complained, and he never stood with shame. At the end of his life, Jed would go on to head back to Italy. On his way there, he told many people that he was going to visit his leg. Really, he was going to pay tribute to all the lives that were lost. In true Alloy Kemp fashion, he had almost 0 stories of his own heroism or courage. Most of the time he spoke of shenanigans and beaches. Al was never the type to dwell, always the storyteller. We heard an awful lot of tall tales. Although I'm certain my grandpa made a difference during his time served. I had been told as a child that without me my father would not be alive. After he was sent to Panama, he had a gun held to his head and was to be executed. He begged for them to spare his life as I had just been born. A woman with the group stopped the execution, and my father is here yet today. He went on to serve 11 years in total, leaving only in the mid-80s as a captain. My fiancé, Jonathan Arnold, joins these humble men as a person I admire and to whom I also owe my gratitude. Joining the Marine Corps was his lifelong dream. When asked what his proudest moment in his life is, he states that it was the day he was given his commission as a Marine Corps officer. When asked the proudest moments of his time deployed, he said, being able to lead some of the finest men I know into battle. And continued to humbly say, their success is my success, and it was because of his Marines they succeeded and were all able to come back from each deployment. Today, I know him to be Captain Jonathan A. Arnold, Company Commander, Headquarters Company, and 7th Marine Regiment, and soon I get to call him my husband. In conclusion, I pay tribute to some amazing men in my life. Whilst there are plenty of men and women out there that deserve recognition as well, these are my men, and the one to whom I personally can show my gratitude. Jed lost his leg in his dreams of becoming a football player. Aloy was subjected to criticism and mistreatment after coming back from Guantanamo Bay shortly before the Cuban Missile Crisis. Donald will never admit what he might have done for our country, but he was willing to jump out of hundreds of airplanes to defend our freedom. Jonathan, being the most humble person I know, believes his success in defending our freedom lies solely on the shoulders of his Marines. I invite you to pay tribute to those around us who have served, not only on Veterans Day, but every day. Thank you.